This time, due to tobacco laws, preventing several teams entering due to their current sponsorship clauses. Spa is known for its unpredictable weather, with rain frequently shaking up the rate of death.
Alright, welcome everyone, DPR, to DPR, Belgium Season 6, Race 3. Currently on YouTube. Twitch will start a little later. You're too loud. Twitch will start slightly later, maybe a lot. Honestly, depends on when Frost is going to come back. Lorda's disqualified. Blocking the pit lane. We have 8 drivers on the out lap. Interesting. A lot of people starting early. All right. It would appear Wiggy is going to start first, with Joshua right behind him, with that beautiful McLaren, and Wiggy on his lap now, and Joshua right behind him. Let's see who's going to have the best time. A little slide from Wiggy. This might be a slight problem in the full time, in the final time. And he is letting Joshua go. Or Joshua was slightly faster. I think the first one to complete the time is going to be either Joshua or Wiggy, if he's going to spin. If Joshua is going to spin, then Wiggy will be the first one to complete the time. No racing at the moment. The best time wins. This is the slightly boring part. Well, Wiggy is either too slow or he's spun out. Menno. Yellow flagged. And Joshua finishing his lap time. (1:48.560). All right. Right behind him, Chriso with 1:46. That's a good first place. Wiggy with a slight problem in time, I presume. 2:17. At least it's showing 2:20. Yeah, 2:20. Balu 4th. 1:59. It didn't put the time on. Interesting. Sector 2. Yellow flags. No clue what's that about. 1:46 clean from Nikosevich in Alfa Romeo. And Andre spinning out, coming out of the track and banging his wing on the wall a little. That's fine. And we have the Red Bull spinning out as well. Abu Mason setting 1:45.762, putting himself into the first position. Chriso reversing way too strong. And who's that? And he's spinning out, reversing into the wall as well. It's not going to be a good time. Better than Wiki's at the moment, though. Currently, the best time is 1:45.762. Andy Meister spinning out again. The crowd is cheering. Wiggis had a better time at 1:47. Andy Meister spinning out a bit too much. Fine show, though. Nikasevich spinning out. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Plus 20 seconds. Still keeping the 146 clean. We have Fineri with no lap going pits. Ameno going pits as well. Invalidated lap, both of them. Wiggy is gonna go pits as well, that's for sure. Andy Meister and Balu. Andy Meister running out of fuel slowly. Blinking already. Anbu Mason still holding his pole position. And they're going pits. Balu too. And we have Dom Bravados going pits as well. Currently nothing happening. Joshua has 100% ERS, so he's not using his ERS deploy. Possibly will go pit. If not, he started to use the ERS. That's not a better time. He is using his ERS now, though. In Sector 1, yellow flag, don't know why. Wiggy having a slight slide, I presume. Andre having his outlap invalidated. That's a no problem, though. And we have Wiggy slowing down on his outlap, letting another outlap go. And Joshua spinning out, getting out of the track. Nikasevich letting Andre go, currently on his lap. I'm hoping to see a good time from Andre here. The engines are roaring. That's a good sign. Chriso invalidated his lap. That's a bummer. Catching up to Menno, that doesn't have his lap invalidated, but going a bit too slow. Maybe fuel, or just going slow. Menno setting a time of nothing. Again, it's interesting. Maybe that's why he was a little slower. Eight people. Oh, wow, welcome. It's showing me Don Bravados is on his lap. But I think he didn't set any lap. Oh man, that's interesting. Andre, 147, 177. Fourth position. Not bad. Qualifying finishing in roughly 5 minutes. Menno going to set his time. 151, 10th position. Andy Meister, 9th position with 148. Can somebody beat Ambu in his pole? Doesn't look like it at the moment, unfortunately. Andre yellowing a sector. He's gonna go pit still. Crashing into a wall at the pit entry. That's gonna stop him. Oh, pole position first, Nikasevich. 1 minute 45, 566, beating Ambu Mason. Wow. Ambu Mason still at an outlap, showing me he is going his lap time for some reason. I think that's the problem that I was having. It's not showing outlaps. But he has his time invalidated now, allowing the ERS to deploy, going a lap. Is he going to beat Nikasevich and take his pole position back, or is he going to be starting on the second position? We'll see. And I think we have a spin. Maybe, didn't see it. Chriso. Menno going into pits. Andy Meister still driving, making his time a little better. Everyone's going pits. Ambu Mason going in full roar though. So far doing just fine. Nikosevich going pits, I presume, of course. Alright, the next one we have is Fineri, but he's going to be going pits, I presume. Low fuel, no ERS. Looks to be pits on my side. But Ambu, trying to get his pole position back from Nikosevich, trying his best. And we have Joshua. No. Just random yellows. Ambu going in and taking the pole position back with 1:45.049. That's the best lap from Mercedes. We'll see if anyone can quickly beat it. Well, Andy was going maybe a little too slow or spinning out. Didn't see that. The audio is a little off, but that's fine. Going into pits, Andy. Don Bravados behind him, pits as well. Qualification ends in 15 seconds. Everyone is split, except Andre and Joshua. And Anbu, but excuse me. But I think he's going to be going pits because he did set his time already. Why would he be racing on a horse? He's going slightly slower than usual. If he's going to be setting time, I don't know. But it would appear he is, because the fuel is completely fine. The ERS is being deployed. He's going full throttle. Looks like he's going to be setting time. As Joshua tried to set time. Didn't do much for him. But Andre. Last two turns. And now just full on. And he sets 5th position, 1:46.609. After all, his 5th position wasn't that slow. Alright, and we have Ambu Mason on the pole, Nikosevich going from the 2nd, Chriso going from the 3rd, Wiggy, Andre, Dom Bravados, Balu, Fineri, Andy Meister, Joshua, F1 Menno, and the last one being Lord Dust Official. Disqualified without time. Alright. Looks nice. Now let's enjoy the race. Something we're all waiting for. Formation lap starting. Nothing interesting at the moment. I remember last formation lap, I bumped myself into Gauret. Foolish mistake. As everyone is warming up their tires, this isn't much interesting. What's the most interesting though is them trying to get into their own grids. And how many people will fail? Personally, I think three people are going to be disqualified because of the grid position. We'll see. Everyone is starting on mediums, but Ambu Mason is going to be starting on hards. Possibly later on switching into mediums or softs. Didn't see the below predicted. So we'll see what he is going to do. But everyone else is starting on mediums. All fresh. Ambu Mason might be having slight trouble at the beginning because of the medium tires. But he is going to be catching them later on in the race with a completely different tires compared to theirs. Now we have a disqualification, Chriso already. Chriso didn't bump into anyone, didn't disqualify anyone else. Disqualified himself. Didn't see how. And now we have our grid position. As I said, three people. Chriso doesn't count. We'll see if I was right. We have one. That's Wiggy. We have two. We have three. We have four. 4 people disqualified. 5 people disqualified. 6 people disqualified. Perfect. And it's time to go. The race is starting. Ambu Mason getting a head start. Beautiful. Going into turn 1, we have no problems. Going wide, someone. I didn't see one. Oh! And we have Wiggy crashing into a wall through a spin. Unfortunate. And we have, I don't know what, because it's not showing me for some reason. But it looks to be as a virtual safety car, because I don't see any safety car anywhere. But we have Wiggy out of the race already. Very unfortunate. Someone spun out. It's Menno. Creating a small gap in the middle. Already had a fun start. Looks like a good race. Sector 2. Ambu Mason still holding his first position. Chriso trying to catch up to him. While Nikasevich is trying to catch up to Chriso. A small gap forming by Menno. Possible damage to his wing, or just the spin causing himself to lose some speed. Another gap forming between Andre and Joshua. And we have a spin from Balu Aston Martin, however you want to call it. As we have Andy trying to take the position away from Finnery. Balu still having trouble. Ambu Mason, 158. First lap, Mercedes. Still first. Balu still being yellow flagged over there, reconnecting on the track, going forward. And we can see that Andy took the 8th position from Fineri. He's now continuing on, trying to catch Lord Dust. 7th Lord Dust. And we have, I think, Fineri, yeah, Wiggy's out. We have Fineri crashing himself out, DNF on the first lap. No safety car or virtual safety car at the moment. Ambu Mason still holding his first position. Chriso not being much of a threat at the moment. Jure Nikasevich being, interestingly, minus 1 minute 48. Thank you, Codemasters. Don Bravado's being plus 151. Beautiful times, I must say. Anyway, there is a gap forming between Don Bravado's and Nikasevich and Andre. Also a gap forming behind with Andy Meister and Lord Dust. Menno still being behind and Balu being heavily behind. Currently trying to get past the DNF'd Fineri. Getting past. Good job, Balu. Balu is on soft tires at the moment. We have a Sector 3. It looks like Joshua spun out with McLaren going the complete opposite way. Disqualified from session, went in the wrong way. Unfortunate from Joshua. Should have spun, waited, but that's fine. Ambu Mason still keeping his first position, while Nikasevich getting the fastest lap. And we have DRS enabled. Now it's getting interesting. 3 drivers DNF. Actually 2 drivers DNF, with one being disqualified. We have DRS, Chriso using his DRS, trying to catch up to Ambu Mason. Catching up quite well. And we have Andre spinning out into a wall, missing the front wing. And we have a virtual safety car at the moment. Everyone warming up their tires slightly. Or everyone front row of the grid. Balu now having a slight chance to catch up very quickly with his soft tires. 23 seconds away from F1 Menno. Fresh soft tires with 1 stop. Balu, a drive-through penalty for speeding under virtual safety car. Oh, Balu. And spinning himself out as well. Not having a good race at the moment, Balu. Just stay on, you're 9th already, having points. And we have Lord Dust having a little spin, causing Andy to spin, doing several clocks on the ground, on the tarmac, on whatever you want to call it, the track. Oh wow, I'm really having trouble speaking, don't I? Anyway, Andy Meister spinning because of Lord Dust. I see the virtual safety car is off. Ambu Mason still keeping his first position, while Chris is currently attacking his first position. Ambu Mason blocking. Chris trying to take the first position, having the DRS. Chris taking the first position, using ERS and DRS at the same time. Can he keep the first position? That's the question. Looks like he can. Good job to Chris, getting the first position, or Chriso. Ambu Mason now being in second with his hard tires. We have Nikasevich trying to attack Ambu Mason to take the second position. Ambu Mason not letting him, blocking as much as he can, putting as much speed. Nikasevich again trying to take the second position. Ambu Mason not letting him. And we have Lord Dust official spinning again, possibly hitting the wall. Now letting Andy Meister go. DRS has been disabled because of rain. Soon, everyone is going to be going for inters, and I presume it's going to be this lap as well. Tires. We have Balu not changing his tires for inters. I think that's a bit of a... Kriso spinning out, losing his first position, giving it to Nikasevich. And I think Balu had a mistake, not taking the inters. As Nikasevich and Ambu Mason pit for said inters, I presume. As everyone else is. Even Kriso. And I presume even Andy. Andy spinning out because of the rain, going onto the grass. Ambu Mason, Dom Bravados, Nikasevich having their inters placed on. Nikasevich keeping his first position, Ambu Mason keeping his second position, and Dom Bravados in third position. Now, it's only going to be who's going to be the faster in the rain. We have Menno pitting for inters, Lord Dust stopping in the pit lane, possibly crashing into a wall slightly, Buck pitting for inters as well. As Andre spins out, goes out of the track. He's trying his best to make his way into pits. My apologies. To change for inters, as it is extremely needed. Balu, same, was in the pit lane, could have exchanged into inters, would have had a better chance. Nikasevich spinning out on the inters, losing his first position, going into fourth. Kriso taking third, Dom Bravado second, Ambu Mason first. Currently Mercedes being 1-2. If they can stay like that until the end of the race, we will have 1-2 victory for Mercedes. And we have Andy spinning out, crashing into a wall, destroying his wing quite possibly, as Menno trying to overtake, not going to have enough time to get in. Having a slide. Good job to F1 Menno for holding it off. As Balu is trying to exchange his tires for inters, causing himself to slide off. Now going onto the grass to straighten himself up. Very unlucky from Balu. Could have exchanged himself into inters, but his engineers kind of did him wrong. With Balu, 5-second penalty, speeding in pit lane. Don't lose confidence, my friend. Keep going. We have Lord Dust spinning. Rain is having everyone on top of their heels, trying their best to achieve the right speed and trying to at least stay on the track as well. Andy Meister spinning out again, losing his front wing completely, losing the position to F1 Menno. Now we have safety car deployed. Balu can serve out his 5-second penalty and catch up. Don't worry, Mate. Next race you will. Nikasevich pitting for wet tires. Will everyone pit for wet tires, or are the wet tires not the right tire? We will only know later. We can see Andy Meister pitting for a new pair of inters and a new wing. Currently being Nikasevich, the only one with wet tires. Will everyone follow state or not? We do not know that yet. Safety car still waiting for Ambu Mason to catch up. Will take a little bit. Balu, if you're on the stream, I presume it will be the best time right now to serve out the 5-second penalty. Andre taking the turn. Using his ERS and going around the safety car. It's possible that Balu will not have any time to actually even go into the pit lanes and catch up. Only if safety car is going to let him go around the safety car and try to catch up, as Balu has been lapped. Andrew Mason catching up to the safety car. Safety car moving on. Andrew Mason currently leading the pack behind the safety car. Chriso, intermediates, trying to warm them up, apparently. Nikisevich pitting for Inters. Not a good idea to go onto the wets. Therefore, Meno taking the position of fourth away from Nikisevich. Andre trying to catch up. And Balu very unfortunate, being forced to stay behind Chriso, having no other option. We currently have two DNF drivers crashing themselves into the walls, and Joshua going the wrong way, getting himself disqualified from the race. My apologies. Safety car conditions still going on as Andre now catching up to the pack. We'll see what kind of a mayhem is going to be after the safety car ends. We have Chriso or Menno, don't know at a second. I think it was Chriso though. Going a little wide, yeah, it was definitely Chriso, going a little wide. Man, DPR Season 6, Race 3, on several divisions currently racing almost constantly under rainy conditions. Almost every race is rain. It is a bit too much. But I guess some people are better in rainy conditions than in dry conditions, and others are better at dry than in rainy. Meaning that everyone has a chance, at least. We have a safety car in this lap. Everyone is going to be returning to their racing speed. In the rain, 9th lap, going into 10th. After the safety car, meaning everyone is beautifully lined up in just one line, with Balu going to be blue flagged like crazy. Let's see how it's going to go now. And excuse me for muting myself slightly. I'm still a little sick from last time. So I'm blowing out my nose. And we have a race on. Ambu Mason being in his first position as he began in. Everyone on inters right now. Some fresher, some not. We have Balu going wide, spinning out, causing racers to slow down, take a bit of a leisurely pace, as Andy crashes as well. But back into the front, Ambu making a beautiful line. DPR Andre, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Andre taking position of 5th, and Nikasevic taking a position of 6th away from F1 Menno. And Nikasevic taking the position of 5th from Andre. As in the front of the pack, we have Chriso and Dom Bravados currently fighting over the 2nd position, as Dom Bravados tries to block as much as he can, and Chriso trying to attack and taking every chance he can get. Fastest time. Oh, that's the wrong one. Fastest lap. Nikasevic, 1:49.468. That was during the dry. Nikasevic retired from the session. Why? Another safety car. Nikasevic crashing out. Dear Lord. Not getting a DNF though. Just retiring. Maybe had too much. Balu, drive-through penalty for speeding under a safety car. Balu, you have to slow down. One was virtual safety car, and now you have drive-through penalty for speeding under a safety car. Andy Meister as well, both of them having a drive-through penalty that will have to be served in 3 laps. If not, that could be, I think, disqualification, if I remember correctly, as Andy Meister takes the position illegally. Both Balu and Andy Meister having problems, not communicating with each other properly. Who's supposed to take what? Up, down, up, down. Choose. Both of them taking their drive-through penalties right now. Balu, 5-second time penalty for speeding in pit lane, currently making it 10 seconds. But Balu possibly will be serving his 5-second penalty first as well. Yes, he will. Balu switching to wet tires at the moment, as Andy Meister is staying on his inters. And Andy Meister keeps his position as Balu is going to be behind. Anyway, Andy leading the safety car at the moment. Both, actually, the first, the second, the third, and the fourth, both having old inters with 6 laps on them, as Andre, Menno, Andy Meister having entirely fresh inters, and Balu having fresh wets. Balu still having his drive-through penalty. Lord Dust getting another drive-through penalty. Now we have 3 drivers waiting for their drive-through penalty, which can only be served after the safety car ends. So currently, the biggest battle is between Ambo Mason, Don Bravados, and Crisso, who don't have any penalties, but have old tires, so we will see how that is going to unfold. As Lord Dust spins out and crashes his front wing, giving himself even a bigger kind of a penalty, because he now has to go into the pits, exchange his front wing, but he still has to go drive-through as well, possibly no longer being able to get back onto the positions unless he's going to be quick enough. As Balu is going slightly slower, taking his time, Andy Meister is behind Balu, though he technically is still in front of him, as Balu has been lapped by Andy and everyone else. Lordust going in for his new wing. What tires is he going to choose? Inters. And new wing. McLaren, beautiful new livery or livery, don't matter, with the pink and orange mixed with black. Lordust behind Andy during the safety car, while we still have 3 drive-through penalties with Balu, Lordust, and Andy Meister having or needing to serve them after the safety car ends. With the DPR Andre, 3 seconds as a time penalty, Menno being behind him, and Don Bravados, Ambo Mason, and Crisso, or Ambo Mason, Don Bravados, and Crisso, with 7 laps of their inters, possibly pushing Andre into the first position if they will go exchange. If they will go exchange, that is. Safety car is in this lap. as we will be returning into racing speeds and seeing the mayhem unfold for the second time in a row. And I'm wishing to see no more safety cars, as the race will only get longer and longer. And we are starting now. Going into full speeds. Mason keeping his first position. Don Bravados and Crisso all fighting over the first, second and third position. F1 Menno being attacked by drivers who are having drive-through penalties. Interesting. Andre going forward, having a gap being created in front of him. That's a horrible grammar, that's okay. Crisso, Don Bravados, Anbu Mason making a slight, only a slight gap, only a slight gap between them. While Crisso will be possibly attacking Don Bravados soon enough. Andy Meister and Menno fighting over the positions, while Andy Meister still has the drive-through penalty, which he has to serve, while Balu went completely off the track into the wall. Menno spinning out as well. And these raining conditions are only getting worse and worse. Perhaps Balu choose better to change into the wet tires as sector 2. And we have Andy Meister getting above Andre. Andre's not spinning out, but sliding over. Drifting. Andy Meister losing his position to Lourdust official, with both needing to serve their drive-through penalties. Possibly in the next 2 or 3 laps still. Anbu Mason still keeping his first position. Don Bravados third and Crisso. Wait, what? Don Bravados second and Crisso third. My apologies. Now Lourdust, Andy Meister fighting over the 4th position. Both drivers having a drive-through penalty. If they choose to go serve their drive-through penalty right now, they could both keep on racing. As Lourdust chooses to serve his penalty with Andy Meister as well, Don Bravados keeping the 2nd position, Crisso 3rd. Andre will be taking over Lourdust and Andy Meister, as they are both serving the drive-through penalties, with Balu driving the drive-through penalty as well. Andre taking it over from Menno as well. Good job to Andre. As Crisso is attacking Don Bravados from the inside, not going through, not taking the 2nd place, as Don Bravados blocks or is slightly faster. What is Balu doing? Balu is not serving his drive-through penalty as he changes his front wing for the next pair of wets. And we have yellow. No clue why. We have one person on wets, fresh wets, and that's Balu. 2 minutes behind. Andy Meister. Menno trying to catch up to Andre. Lourdust behind Menno with quite a gap actually. Only a slight one, not that big of a gap, but considering the conditions, it's not small either. Rain only looks like it's getting worse and worse. Currently having Andy versus Lourdust versus Menno, fighting for the 5th position in the middle of the track. And we have Chriso trying to take the position of the second. Dom Bravado trying to protect. Chriso taking the wider route, getting the second position, but losing it immediately to Dom Bravado's, as we have Lord Dust spinning out with Andy Meister spinning out, creating a gap between each other. Right now, the most interesting fight lies in Chriso, Dom Bravado, and Anbu Mason's hands. Lord Dust tapping the wall, I presume. Anbu Mason still being the first one, Dom Bravado's being the second one, and Chriso being the third one. Not much has changed, unfortunately. But a lot can change in a span of few seconds. I didn't even notice. Maybe I did, I don't remember correctly. Nikasevich is out of the race. I just noticed that right now. Apologies. Chris tried his best. Didn't do much over there. Chris being very aggressive, possibly tapping his front wing, as Andre spins out, goes out of the track. Anbu Mason creating a gap between Dom Bravado's and Chriso, while Dom Bravado's is possibly already feeling the heavy pressure caused by Chriso's very aggressive driving, which is not bad, though he should be careful, as his tires are already on 11th lap, as everyone else's are, but Chriso is trying the most to gain the position, as Dom Bravado's goes a little wide, giving Chriso the position of the second, Dom Bravado's being third. As I said, a lot can change in a span of few seconds. Now Dom Bravado's, the Mercedes driver, being third, and Chriso in Red Bull second. Anbu Mason created a beautiful gap between them. Doesn't feel any pressure at the moment. Possibly feeling a slight pressure, maybe only a slight one, from the Chriso. Andre DNF, as we will be able to see where he DNF'd from the Lord Dust's official POV, but it looks like that's, yeah, in the pits. He retired in the pits. Menno and Andy Meister fighting over the fourth position, now being in the sector 2, as Dom Bravado's is having a gap being created in front of him, but Chriso gaining up on Anbu like the predator he is. Only 16th lap, and we already have fights like these after the safety cars. Chriso trying his best to catch up to Anbu Mason. I understand, Andre. It was a good race, though. You did your best. Penalties are no more, as we have no more drive-through, and we have no more time penalties either. 12 laps for the first, second, and third drivers, with only one stop between all of them. Chriso taking the first position away from Anbu. Chriso being first right now, going from the third all the way up to first. Beautiful driving at the moment under the rainy conditions, as Menno gets a 3-second time penalty. Yellow flag, BELGIUM spinning out, crashing himself into the wall, still being able to drive, but the wing has been broken. He has to go in for repairs, if he even still has something to repair with. Chris, beautiful driving. Ambu Mason, 2 seconds behind. He created a gap, a monster, going from the 3rd position all the way to 1st, driving under rainy conditions like they were not even there. Now currently Ambu Mason and Dom Bravados having a slight fight over the 2nd position as Chriso fires off as a rocket. Like a rocket, my apologies. Balu pitting. Do they still have new wings for him? It would appear they do, as they were creating it. Look at Chris. Look at that. A 2.8 second gap. He doesn't see the rain. He's driving on dries. He just can't see it. Legend. And I only survive when you got that 1st position like nothing. Don Bravados and Ambu Mason fighting over the 2nd position still. Don Bravados giving him a lot of stress, a lot of pressure that's being built on Ambu Mason's shoulders at the moment. Crazy. As Christo goes right next to Balu, as he has blue flag conditions. Balu now being on inters, as he was several laps still staying on his wets, now chose inters, which are still the best tire for the moment. Currently Ambu Mason has to push so he can get through Balu. Otherwise, there will just be a bigger and bigger gap forming between Chriso and Ambu, as currently it already is 3.7 seconds, and Ambu is losing a lot of time. No way. I don't believe that Ambu Mason will be able to gain his 1st position back because of the rain, as Chriso will possibly be taking the win unless he spins out. Chriso showing exceptional driving in the rainy conditions at the moment. Beautiful. Ambu Mason being 4.2 seconds away from Chriso F1 at the moment. As Don Bravados having a slight gap being having formed. I have no clue how to talk. Don Bravados having a gap formed in front of him. That's better. And Balu letting them both go. A very thoughtful move from Balu, as he was under the blue flag. But Ambu Mason and Don Bravados fighting over the 2nd position. Ambu Mason loses his 2nd position as Don Bravado takes it home, trying to catch up to Chriso now. 5.6 seconds away from Chriso. Ambu Mason being 0.5 and gaining. All 3 of them are on 14 laps old intermediates. Grip possibly falling off even more than before. As Andy Meister gets 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. In Sector 1, he spins out, crashes into a wall 2-3 times. As Manuel takes it over, taking the 4th position. Andy Meister still spinned out on the track, trying to rejoin. Don Bravados taking the gap, 2nd position, 0.6, 0.5.7. Yeah, Ambu Mason, 0.6. You can try as much as you want. Don Bravados took it home. He's keeping it. Chriso, on the other hand, 5.3 seconds gap. 3 laps to go. Chriso being 5 seconds. Beautiful pace. Exceptional driving. It doesn't look like it's raining anymore, but the track stays wet for several laps, and I think it's going to stay wet until the end of the race. So there ain't much that's going to happen with the tires at the moment. The 15 laps old tires on the intermediates in Chris O'Donovatos and Ambu Mason now fighting over on who has the better tire management. But it doesn't look like it's going to change much, as Chriso is 5.4 second gap. Dom Bravado's creating a gap for Ambu Mason by 2 seconds and 4. What the hell? 2.4 seconds, 2.6, 2.7 seconds, 2.8 seconds. 3 seconds, interesting. Ambu Mason driving in the rain, not his strongest suit, it would appear. And we have Lord Dust Official going wide, trying to take the position from Andy. Not being successful, but at the same time being quite successful, as he went wide twice, yet he can keep the 5th position as Andy has to go pits. Menno having his 3-second time penalty. If Lord Dust Official can catch up to F1 Menno under these dry conditions, still slight dry conditions only, not rainy, fully, if he can catch up to him and close the gap below 3 seconds, Lord Dust will be up to 4th position. Chriso having a beautiful 1st position still. Ambu Mason driving like hell. Though Baolu can't go in front of him as there is blue flags. There would be blue flags for him as if he immediately went above. As that doesn't happen very often, I don't see it happening now either. Now we have 21st lap. 21st? No clue. Lap. Chris, 5.5 seconds in front of Bravados. Balu, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Alright, gentlemen. I think what we're looking at right now is going to be our finishing positions, with 5 drivers out of the race. Andre, Nikasevich, Finiri, and Wiggy being DNF'd from the race, with Andre retiring and Joshua disqualifying himself for driving the wrong way. I think this is going to be our finishing positions, at least, because Ambu Mason is closing the gap from 3 seconds, went to 1.7, as Chris is forming the gap, slowly making it 6 seconds. We have Andy Meister on soft tires, though. How's that working out for you? Doesn't look like well, as he pushes on the throttle and his rear wheels going into slight spin at the back. "17 laps of intermediates being pushed into the last lap of the Belgium DPR race, season 6. Chriso, if he's not going to spin this lap, 17th lap intermediate tires, finishing first in front of Dom Bravados and in front of Ambu Mason, gaining 2 positions. Dom Bravados gaining 4 positions, and Ambu Mason falling from the first all the way to the 3rd, losing 2 positions. as many drivers, like Menno and Lordust Official, many. They gained 7 positions, with Andy Meister gaining only 3 positions. We have 3-second time penalties placed on Baolu, Andy Meister, and F1 Menno, and it doesn't look like Lordust Official can catch up to F1 Menno to remove any doubts. No. To add doubt to Menno, I'm sorry. And we are in Sector 3. Last few corners, namely one slight one, and 2 small, as we have DRS enabled, which will make nothing for our drivers at the moment, as Chris is taking his last, and he's now going forward full on, full throttle, finishing the race first with Dom Bravados, finishing the race second, and Ambu Mason third. Right behind him, Menno with a 3-second time penalty, not influencing his finish. Finishing 4th soon enough. Baolu finishing as well 7th. Not much Baolu could do. It's showing that he was driving for 49 minutes. That's a good time. What? Why is there 49 minutes? Bernard Mason. I think that's Anbu Mason. Maybe we will beat him. Maybe he will. But it wasn't today. F1 Menno finishing the race. Now Lordust Official finishing 5th. Andy Meister going into 3rd sector, pushing forward, as he is going to be the last driver to go through the finish line and ending tonight's race of Season 6, the 3rd race, Division 3 in Belgium, is now being finished by Andy. Driver of the day being F1 Menno. Chris being the first, gaining the most points for Red Bull and for himself, with 2nd and 3rd being the Mercedes drivers, Dom Bravados and Ambu Mason. 4th being Menno, 5th Lordust, 6th Andy Meister, Baolu, Andre, DNF, Nikasevic, DNF, Joshua, disqualified, Finery, DNF, and Wiggy, DNF. Thank you everybody for tuning in on the Season 6 Race 3 in Belgium, Division 3 DPR, and we'll see you next time. Good night. Or good day, depending on where you're from.